I'm honestly shocked. I am stunned at this point because I never would have anticipated that the game that breaks the 70s streak for Nintendo. I mean, I felt that this game, Pokemon Pokopia, could be pretty good, but I didn't think that they would casually potentially drop a game of the year candidate like in March. Nobody expected Pokemon Pokopia to be getting the type of reviews that it's getting, but here we are at this point. Pokemon Pokopia is a actual game of the year candidate because it has one of the best scores of the year so far with an 89 average. Now there's 50 plus reviews. More reviews are coming in. That could go up or that could go down. I'm guessing it'll probably go a little bit down as more reviews kind of come in. But the fact that it's even this high in the first place, that caught me and many people online off guard. You're getting incredible reviews from multiple different outlets, essentially getting higher than any Pokemon game has gotten in the last pretty much decade at this point, like even with the mainline Pokemon games. So this is absolutely wild. We're gonna break down exactly what is happening here with Pokemon Pokopia. But before we do, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this, guys, because like I said, I found this to be absolutely wild what is going on here with Pokemon Pokopia. So we're going to start off with the 10 out of 10 scores, then we're going to break down the 9s, the 8s. We're going to kind of just skim through. We're going to go over some of the best reviews of the game, get into the positive, and if there are some negatives, we're going to find them. But right now, there are no negative reviews. So there's no reviews that are underneath, I think, like a 60 or something like that, or 50. Like, there's no negative reviews. There's only 2 mixed reviews. So that's around like the 70s score, low 70s scores or something. And there are 48 plus positive reviews, 75 and up. But once again, more reviews are coming in, so this score could go up or it could go down based off of that. So let's start off with the Gaming Bible. They gave it a 10 out of 10 and said this: there's no one reason why Pokemon Pokopia is so special. This game is a sum of its parts without a single weak link in the chain. It's a title that offers a unique spin on the cozy formula, made all the more magical by the familiarity of the wonderful franchise. Pokemon Pokopia is a true adventure that boasts a refreshing sense of freedom, totally devoid of grind. This experience rewards the curious with heaps of content on offer. You'll be hard-pressed to put it down, and it's certainly a title that we'll all be discussing when this year's Game of the Year discussion rolls around. And I just would never equate a Pokemon game with Game of the Year, considering how they've scored over the last number of entries, whether it's a side game or it's a main game. So that is wild, but here we are at this point, guys. All right, Screen Hub, 10 out of 10. And they said Pokemon Pokopia is entirely brilliant. You'll have expectations. You'll want a cozy, wholesome adventure with Pokemon given a chance to shine. Pokopia brushes all of those expectations aside with a confident wave, arriving as an expansive, ambitious life adventure simulator that's absolutely packed with bright ideas and the execution to match. Oh my goodness. All right, Screen Rant, 10 out of 10. And they just that they're gushing about Pokemon Pokopia. Siliconera, 10 out of 10. Pokemon Pokopia invites us to discover, explore, rebuild, and reconnect, rewarding us for every action along the way. Tech Radar Gaming, 10 out of 10, and says Pokemon Pokopia was always bound to be up there among my most played games of 2026. But even I underestimated how well Nintendo would tackle its latest town building / cozy life sim. It's story driven, offering a great gameplay loop, inventive mechanics, and very few friction points. Nintendo clearly learned from some of Animal Crossing New Horizons' quality of life hiccups. My only wish would be for a little more individuality in Poke personalities, but it's still plenty charming as it is. Next up, and this one is another crazy one, VGC gave it a 10 out of 10. They've been a bit harsh on some of the latest Nintendo games. The fact that they gave it a 10 out of 10 is wild too. So they said this: Pokemon Pokopia is an excellent life simulation game that takes the best bits from the champions of the genre and evolves it into something that Pokemon fans and cozy game fans will love. Late game grinding doesn't dull an adventure that's as full of discovery at 100 hours as it was at 1. And that's probably the best thing that you can say about a cozy sim or like a life sim, is that it doesn't get dull over time. A lot of times when playing even a game like Animal Crossing, after I would say like 20 or 30 hours, it starts to get, okay, this is repetition. It's starting to get a little bit dull. What new is happening? You got to do all these different type of things for there to be something different, or you got to wait for time to pass or a different season or something like that. But that's not the case here. It seems like new things and new stuff happens all the time, and it comes more sooner than it does later. So that is awesome. And I am once again shocked about this score. Okay. CG Magazine, 10 out of 10. Pokemon Pokopia is one of the most robust, cozy games to date, essentially melding two Nintendo franchises into one content-rich whole that should keep fans pleasantly busy for some time. Dexterdo, 10 out of 10 as well. Gfinity, 10 out of 10. And they stated that Pokopia is a 2026 Game of the Year contender that masterfully blends the creative freedom of Minecraft with the cozy charm of Animal Crossing. By trading traditional battling for an addictive loop of habitat restoration and blueprint-based building, it offers a deeply rewarding new way to collect Pokemon. Okay, those were the 10 out of 10 scores. Let's get into the 9 out of 10 scores and just really go through some of the more notable ones here that I saw. Then we'll kind of wrap things up with some of the lower scores too. So Games Radar Plus, they gave it a 9 out of 10, saying that Pokemon Pokopia is like a brilliantly bizarre blend of Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Dragon Quest Builders, and Viva Pinata, and despite its many influences, manages to be a unique spin-off for the Pokemon series that's also an accomplished life sim. Game Informer also gave it a 9 out of 10. Shout outs to Game Informer. I used to read their magazine all the time back in the day. Despite my minor complaints, Pokopia sticks out as one of the best examples of a third-party developer using the Pokemon license to its fullest extent possible. Metro Game Central, 9 out of 10. Game Reactor UK, 9 out of 10. Nintendoros, 9 out of 10. New York Times, 9 out of 10. The Sixth Axis, 9 out of 10. Pocket Tactics, 9 out of 10. A lot of 9 out of 10s. Level Up, 9 out of 10. Okay, we've got IGN here, 7.8 out of 10. Too much Pokemon. No, I'm joking. 9 out of 10 from IGN, and they said this: Pokemon Pokopia is a real treat, an enjoyable building and town simulator that capitalizes on the charming personalities of its monsters in a way that appeals to both the creative and collector alike. It's packed with fun things to do and worthy rewards for doing them, and strikes a healthy balance between freedom and suggestion in its building mechanics. Despite a few precision nitpicks, all of this is housed in an adorable adventure through an interesting and surprisingly deep setting that presses all the nostalgia buttons for longtime fans. And it shines especially bright in its lovable protagonist's blobby pink hands. Man, crazy. I never expected that the game would do this well, but once again, it really is. Vooks also 9 out of 10. Atomics 9 out of 10. Multiplayer.it 9 out of 10. GameSpot also gave it a 9 out of 10, and they said this: Pokopia is a combination of the design sensibilities of Animal Crossing and Dragon Quest Builders, but by melding those two structures and fusing them with Pokemon, it compensates for each one's weaknesses. Animal Crossing is so focused on building community that there isn't much to do once you finish your daily chores, while Dragon Quest Builders relies heavily on story quests without much incentive to build up your community and socialize. Pokemon Pokopia gives you a massive amount to do and a story that propels you forward, while also letting you enjoy the simple pleasure of living among your Pokemon friends and building your perfect community. I feel like I barely scratched the surface and I can't wait to keep exploring. I'll get Squirtle back yet. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe so many of these big sites are giving this game such praising reviews. I knew that it can be solid. I knew that it was going to be maybe like a 80 score or something, but I did not expect Game of the Year quality or Game of the Year score type of a game. Comic Book also gave it a 9 out of 10. Spazio Games, 9 out of 10. Press Start Australia, 9 out of 10. And also 4P.de, 9 out of 10. Okay, we've got some 8s that we're going to run down quickly, and then we'll kind of finish out here with the final thoughts and what I'm going to be doing when it comes to my coverage of the game. So Vandal, 8.9 out of 10. Tierra Gamer, 8.8 out of 10. Nintendo, 8.8 out of 10. Hobby Consolas, 8.7 out of 10. EverEye.it, 8.7 out of 10. Also, Mary Station, 8.4 out of 10. GameStar, 8.3 out of 10. Nintendo Life, 8 out of 10. And let me read that because that's one of the lower scores when it comes to notable websites. So they said Pokemon Pokopia is the freshest Pokemon experience in a long time, bursting at the seams with the charm and content that rewards both curiosity and creativity. It's an easy game to get swallowed up in, even with a few gameplay and progression issues that need ironing out. But as a first go at something different for the franchise, it's a big win. I don't know how Pokemon stayed away from this kind of structure for so long, and I'd easily take a dozen more. Okay, next up from True Gaming, 8 out of 10 as well. Eurogamer, 8 out of 10, and they said this: Pokopia succeeds in capturing the spirit of Pokemon's past without sacrificing its uniqueness as one of the best spin-offs the franchise has ever seen. GamePro Germany, 8 out of 10, and that wraps up the 8 out of 10 scores. Now we have 3 scores that are below an 8 out of 10 so far. Now, once again, more scores are coming in. Things can be adjusted, but MGG gave it a 7.5 out of 10, and let's read what they had to say as one of the lower scores. By taking the best ideas from Dragon Quest builders and adapting them to Pokemon, Pokopia offers a proven formula that works well. With its extensive Pokedex and numerous secrets, Koei Tecmo's game delivers the essentials, but ultimately becomes tiresome. After an exciting initial discovery phase, the excitement eventually fizzles out, and what could have been a must-have for Switch 2 ends up being just a decent experience for fans of Pocket Monsters. So interesting, they feel that it doesn't keep the discovery up. We read a bunch of reviews that said, no, it actually keeps things up and it keeps things fresh from so many reviewers, but this person says, not for them. So interesting there. Okay, next up from GameCult, they gave it a 7 out of 10. This is one of the 2 mixed scores, so anything below, I would say 75 or so with the mixed yellow. And they said Pokemon Pokopia met our expectations. Even if it's not perfect, it does have a repetitive aspect inherent to the genre, which won't appeal to everyone, and some technical issues that can be annoying over time. However, if you enjoy relaxing atmospheres and don't want to overthink things, there's a good chance this game will satisfy you if you're willing to pay the price, because in terms of playtime, you'll definitely get your money's worth. Okay, some technical issues. This is the first time that I've also heard technical issues with the game, so we'll see what's going on with that as well. All right, The Gamer, the lowest score so far, 6 out of 10, and they said this: this is a fun time to be had here. But ultimately, Pokemon Pokopia doesn't explore the Pokemon side of its world and offers building quests that are mostly rigid and repetitive. As ever, with Pokemon, there's enough charm to see through, and the mechanics aren't shallow, even if they're used in aid of the same few tasks over and over again. Okay, so interesting. The last few reviews here feel that it doesn't do enough to kind of keep the gameplay loop fresh, where there's a bunch of reviews that feel that it actually does do that. So interesting. Okay, so that wraps it up for all of the reviews. Once again, there's a lot more reviews coming in. My final thoughts on this are, wow, I did not expect Pokemon Pokopia to get such good reviews. I did not know that this would happen. I felt that the game would do good, but I didn't know it'd do this good. Now, I definitely plan on checking it out. I was kind of always going back and forth, but based off of some of the previews that people were talking about, I think like a couple weeks ago or so, I was like, okay, I'm going to give this game a chance. And now that we have the reviews here, it seems like it's a legitimate game of the year contender, or at least in the conversation. I'm not sure if it's going to get nominated at the Keeley Awards or what does it matter at the end of the day. But I think that people, if you like Animal Crossing, if you like Pokemon, if you like Minecraft style games, this is definitely going to be a game for you. I never really put a ton of time into Animal Crossing games, but with New Horizons, I did put more time than I've ever put into an Animal Crossing game. So I do plan on checking this one out. I'll probably even stream it because it's that type of game. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are maybe skeptical about the game too, so I'll definitely stream it myself and we'll see what happens together. So what do you guys think about Pokemon Pokopia reviews, it being a potential game of the year quality when it comes to the score? At least let me know in the comment section below. All right guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.